Hey guys, welcome back to the Geek Box. So today we're looking at the new game Palworld, which is a game I can admit I've been hammering on quite a bit. It's dangerously addictive once you get into it if it's your thing, but I know as well for a lot of people it's been a game where finding different approaches to etc. So from my experience so far, I just want to share with you 11 starter tips for Palworld. So I'm basing a lot of these on lower levels, etc., things like that, obviously, just to get you started into it and to get yourself in a good position to play the game. So I hope these help you out. Obviously, if you haven't already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest content. And if you do find this video helpful and you like the video, please hit that like button as it helps support the channel. Anyway, enough talking with it, let's get into it. The starter camp location. So at the start of the game you're going to start here and you'll go through and you'll see your very first fast travel point there. So you'll click on that, it'll be red or orange when you first get in here. You'll activate it, it will turn blue, and to your right you'll meet your first person that will give you some supplies. Now to the right here you can see I start my camp. This is my first camp and it's the perfect location, and the reason why is the resources. So as you can see here, there are trees. Where all these bags are you can see is actually berries, but my pals have picked them, and you've got a lot of space to build. There's also a lot of rock formations. There's one where I just ran through, but again my pals have already smashed through it as they're working away, as you can see. And you've also got another one on the side here. So rock and wood being your starters are in abundance here. You'll also see very close by, if you look down you'll be able to see there's a whole area of mining beneath you, and there'll be a lot of creatures there for you to go and capture. Also, all those blue rocks you can see spotted around have paldium in them, which when you get your pickaxe you will be able to go and harvest here. And these resources constantly respawn. So you'll also see, very conveniently as I was recording this, I also got raided. Now I will say for a start, at the very start of the game, the raids will not be as in full force as you're about to see on this one. But this location as well also means that any raiding forces here will have to travel through this lower area. And well, you can pick them off or you can set your pals on them, as you see here. And the problem for them is they have to travel all the way around the outside, which is why I've sped up this bit of video, because obviously you don't sit and watch this. But you can also see in defensive terms it does set you up well to be able to prepare for anything. And also when it's early on and you're on lower weapons and you're still building your base, you want that bit of a cushion. Now there are some pals that will be able to come up over that hill, but for the majorities you'll see they have to charge around and give you time to prepare. And if you're building defences etc as well, you can build defences on this side here, which will help set you up. So all in all, location wise for a camp, it's good defences, you've got resources continually respawning for you, and once you've got a group of pals working on the camp, they'll constantly keep breaking it down. So you'll be getting rock, you'll be getting wood, and you'll be getting paldium, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. It just gives you an abundance of resources to really get you started as you're building up the things that you're unlocking early in the game. And obviously once you get your camp up to level 10 by building the correct things, you'll then open up your slot where you can build your second camp. So building a ranch. Now this is a early item you get in the game called the ranch build. As you can see here, it takes up a good bit of space, but it is one of the best things you can add in. See, it's the second item you get in your pal column. You unlock it very early on, and what this is anything that can be created from a pal will be with the ranch. Now as you see here, this is an example of wool from having a lamb ball in the camp. Lots of wool produced, same as if you're having a chickeny in the camp, you'll have loads of eggs. So it's a really good way of farming resources without having to do anything other than just assigning those pals to your camp. Now understanding pal skills is essential for making your camp run smoothly. As you'll see here, each pal has got a different skill which is done with a different icon it will show. So The skills that the pals have assigned to your camp means they can take on jobs for you when you're not there or support you when you are there. And obviously matching up these logos to the job at hand is how you know who will do what. So for example, here you have the handiwork logo. So you'll see any of your pals match up that they have the handiwork logo. It means they can be assigned, or they will automatically go to do the jobs that are left at workbenches, etc. And obviously you can do the work yourself. But as you'll see there, a pal has been assigned. So that means that pal has got a skill, a handiwork skill. They see a job needs doing, and now they will come to the bench and they will start doing that themselves. Finding the correct balance between these, I think, is essential to being able to have a running camp whilst you're not there and whilst you're out, obviously getting your XP and your farming, etc. So this brings us on to one that I actually know a lot of people were confused with online. I took a good few moments to figure it out as well, but it's the kindling skill. So you'll see if we look here onto our actual pals that any fire-based pals basically have the kindling skill. This is what will allow you to cook, and most essentially this is what will allow you to smelt ingots, because a lot of things you build later on you'll require a lot of ingots, and you can't make them yourself with the first things that you have, the primitive furnace. You require a pal's skill to create the items inside of it. So again, as you can see, the pal has been assigned the task but you've put something in there to be worked on, charcoal in this case, and they are now coming to do the job. And it's a really cool animation, I think, to watch. But it's the same as with the cooking. You'll see again required kindling. So 99% of fire pals will have the ability to do the kindling. All the ones I've got at the moment are, so it's useful to have at least a couple of them in your camp. As you'll see, they'll run straight to when you select something and do the job for you. But of course, that doesn't mean with the cooking utensils that you can't actually do it yourself. You'll see as I go in there, I was going to do it then, but a pal ran in the way, so I grabbed them instead. But if you put a fried egg on again to be cooked, you can cook it yourself. And when you're cooking in batches, sometimes they'll work with you and it makes it way faster. But these are essentials that really will help you take your camp to the next level once you get that proper understanding. And as an additional, as you can see, for example here, I've just picked up this pal. So you can walk around with them. Obviously look too, you'll see, as I've stated earlier, with the ranch you can chuck there to help make eggs, but you can throw your pal, and if they land near a job that they have the skill to take on, it will assign them to that job and it will tell you on the screen as well. So you can also manually organize who's doing what by throwing the pals into the correct places. And so fighting with your pals is another thing. Obviously it's a big element of this. So at the start of this, basically you will find when you put your pals in, generally they'll kind of fight but not very aggressively. But by selecting your pal's abilities, etc., command attack aggressively. If you select that, as you just saw there, then when you do go into a fight, they will attack properly, especially if we're going into bosses and things like that, or bigger targets. But as you see here, I've turned that into an enemy and now it instantly goes on the attack. Generally that sort of thing, it's kind of 50-50 depending on the temperament of the pal, if they will attack straight away. But as you saw, because I chose the aggressive attack, he attacked straight away and attacked the other one the moment it became aggressive. This is a massive difference once I realised it. When you want to fight bosses, obviously take on more powerful pals, the fact that you want that instant backup, as you see, you shoot and he instantly attacks it as well. And obviously if you just want to control the narrative to capture them, then of course pull your pal away when enough damage has been done so they don't accidentally take them out. But it's just a good way to turn them into a solid fighter to do, well, what you need them to do. So the next is get the grappling gun. Now, beating the bosses, etc., legendary or boss creatures, we will give you points for what's called the ancient technology points. As you'll see here in the technology ladder, we have a purple column for ancient technology. In there you will get the grappling gun, which it takes up 1 point. It is the best thing to get first for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, its first and foremost reason is to help you climb. So when you shoot up like that, as you see, you eliminate the first part of the climb. Now, if you're going from a high point to a high point as well, this is essential at places, because the stamina gauge that you use up a lot of that gliding and grabbing onto a ledge, for example, or just climbing up a great height. And when you use a grapple gun, you can get yourself to a high point already, so you don't have to worry about your stamina running out and falling to your death or falling into water where you drown. So obviously that's the primary use for the grappling gun, but I've also discovered a secondary thing for this using that same temp that is just brilliant. I'm going to speed this up to show you, but I will explain it to you beforehand. So when you go out, as you can see, your red gauge is full here. I am very over encumbered to the point where I cannot move. So the grappling gun, on the other hand, can get you to move. Now you can grab the floor with the grappling gun to move forward paces, or you can grab trees. Now a good way, if you're going to do this, if you take an axe out with you and you're going out to farm these materials, is you can warp your way to a tree, or grapple I should say, towards a tree, and you can try to maneuver around. You're seeing here I did first, but the best way is, if you can't maneuver yourself around too well, is then chop the tree down and grapple again. Obviously you got your 10-second timer in between each time, which will be a pain, but it will get you there. So I'll leave you the example here. As you can see, I am very over encumbered, yet I'm far away from my camp, and using the grappling hook, well, I'm going to get all those resources in one trip back to the camp. And now you'll see with one last shot, we grapple to the wall, it shoots us across, and we're at the chest. So now you can drop all that stuff you just collected, and it just saves you from doing multiple trips, which, though yes, it does take some time to get the grapple done at a distance, etc., compared to having to keep going back, forth, it really is a time saver. So grapple gun, massive use of it, and obviously you can upgrade it as well as you get to high levels, and the mega version, etc., the giga version becomes available, which will let you shoot even further. But it's just a tool that will really help you get your stuff together. So from time to time you will collect what's called PAL souls. So when you do, eventually as you explore, you will find these statues lay around. PAL souls are how you power up separate pals individually on your team, so you can put them into attack, health, defense, and their ability to work. Obviously also here you can power yourself up if you collect enough of the effigies, but here see you pick your pal and then you can use souls to change the stats you have, obviously shaping up the guys that you have if you want to make a more focused team. Also though, if you don't want to be going around the map, not that too far into the game really, you will here find that you can build your own version in your camp. So being able to build it, put it in your camp, obviously allows you to access the exact same thing, but you don't have to travel anywhere away from home, so you can really shape your PAL army to how you want them set. So from time to time you will have to use PAL medicines, and to get access to these you will need the medicine bench. So obviously living, breathing creatures, for working they can get stressed and ill and depressed and all sorts of things. But you see all the things down here, eventually you will get the medieval medicine bench at level 12. So if you build this bench, it will then allow you to access a variety of medicine. So once built, it will look like this in your camp. So selecting it, it will give you the recipes available, and you'll see you've got basic medicines, the low grade, etc., medical supplies, you've got syringes, the high grade medical supplies, and your juices. Obviously these are a host of different treatments for different varieties of things that come up. It will come up below your PAL in the base info slot if they have a medical condition and on their stats, and then make the appropriate medicine and give it to them. And obviously to give to them, you approach a PAL the same way you would if you were going to feed them. So you open up the menu, select feed, it will open up your inventory, and then you select the medicine that you're going to give them. Obviously as long as you give the right medicine to them, it will cure them of the ailment that they have. So this will help keep you happy, healthy, and with alive pals. Speaking of keeping things alive, that includes you. So embrace your inner chef. Obviously there are many cooking options in this game, and you are going to get hungry a lot. So meats and all of the things that you collect in the game can be cooked. Obviously this is using the cooker that you unlock after a good few levels. It's not that high to get though, and this will allow you to cook more complex meals that will fill up a lot more of your hunger. Obviously at the start of the game you will have your campfire that will also allow you to cook basic meals, but just getting in, and as you see, once you've been getting into the game, they cook quite quickly as well. You always want to have a host of food on you, because once your hunger gauge expires and you are too hungry, you will actually start to lose health as a result of that. So you want to obviously make sure you avoid that from happening. So being able to actually build your cooker and then obviously create more advanced recipes. You can see level 17 will let you build the cooking pot, which gives you advanced things to make. And as a bonus, this food doesn't take up much space in your inventory. You can also later on with the ancient technology get the feed bag, so obviously you can assign food for you to eat automatically when you get hungry. So have fun going out and getting new recipes, obviously exploring more, because you don't have to worry about coming back so often because you can carry this stuff, and getting into the fun of it. But leading on from that, I'm going to talk about two essentials I think attached to that. That is making sure you put a focus on crafting your spheres that you need and your weapons that you need, because being out there hunting and building and capturing, they're all the things that add stuff up. So the more spheres you've got and the more you're upgrading your spheres as you can, as you go to the technology tree and getting better weapons, they allow you to explore way further out into the map. They allow you to do a lot more, and they allow you to capture a lot more. And obviously capturing gives you a load of XP, and so does hunting, which will allow you to expand your character, unlock new things, and build a bigger base, etc., and get further into the game. So putting a focus on using the weapons workbench, so you just saw using the sphere workbench, making sure you have a host of these things will help you really push yourself out there and allow you to explore a vast world that Palworld offers to you. And last but definitely not least is your stat focus. So building your stats built up your character, how you're going to play, what you're going to find easy, difficult, etc. But I would say early on, where you can, I did it like every other level. I put a stat on my weight limit first, so I could get it up to 550, 600 early on. The reason being, the less weight you can carry, the less resources you're going to be able to collect per time, and you're going to find yourself spending a lot of time going back and forth just to collect small amounts of wood, etc. But if you build this stat up nice and early, then you'll be able to make really good trips, and you'll find that your base, etc., grows very quickly. So just as you can build it up, build up so your bit of attack, your HP, etc. But put a bit of a focus, I'd say, on those first 10 levels of trying to get that weight limit right the way up. So as anyone that's played an RPG and that knows what a pain in the backside it is when you have to do that. Anyway, that's all for now, guys. I hope these 11 tips really help you out exploring this amazing world they've given us in Palworld, and I hope it helps you set off on the journey that you can truly enjoy. Anyway, as always, thanks for watching the video, guys, and I will see you all out there.